You reached me in my hiding place, and took me in your cool embrace. In a world so stripped of love, in an age of machines and blood, and you called me through the sleep, and you reached me in a dream so deep. You were woven so delicately, thus beloved I fell for thee. Your moonlight tore through the night, and took my reaching hand so tight. And you sang me out from the sleep, and I followed down dissolving streets. You were woven so masterfully, thus beloved I walk with thee. You reached me in my hiding place, and took me in your cool embrace. And you called me through the sleep, and you reached me in a dream so deep. You were woven so splendidly, thus beloved I awoke to thee. You were woven so splendidly. Thus, beloved, I awoke to thee.
Jai Baba. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Heartland Center, I want to welcome you all to this evening's program that is in remembrance of the 72nd anniversary of Mayor Baba's accident outside Prague, Oklahoma. I'm Daniel Stone. I am the president of the Avatar Mayor Baba Heartland Center. And we're very happy so many of you could participate this evening in remembrance of that very singular day when Mayor Baba, Mara, Meru, Elizabeth Patterson, and Mani were all involved in the collision that resulted in Baba and the Mondelez spending 12 days in the hospital in Prague in their recovery. I also want to thank or acknowledge all of you who participated in the juppa that was held this morning between the hours that Mayor Baba and his group left their motor court on their way toward California and the time that they had the accident and were then taken to Dr. Burleson's clinic in Prague from about 5 a.m. to about noon. Now, we had actually over 150 people participating in that jump from many countries, including South Korea and Slovenia. So it has really become a worldwide jumpa. So that's wonderful to have you all there. This accident for Baba seems directly related to Mayor Baba's universal work, which he said he was doing at all time and in all planes, on all planes of consciousness. And Baba said that essential to performing that universal work is that the avatar, every time he comes, has to take on the suffering of humanity that's necessary to achieve the spiritual upliftment that the avatar has come to give to humanity. And each advent that Baba says he bears that suffering. And this accident in Craig, Baba actually called his crucifixion and referred to it as the greatest of his sufferings, but he said that this was an accident that would benefit the whole world. So we gather here this evening in remembrance of Mayor Baba and to foster our own dedication to love him and to serve him, each of us in our own way. Now, we have a wonderful program for you this evening, but before turning it over to our host to introduce the program, I'd like to acknowledge a few folks who have been really, really helpful in getting this program together. And I want to start with Greg Butler, who has been a main video and script writer and technical support for us at the Heartland Center for years now. Also, I want to acknowledge Diana Goodhart, who comes to us from BabaZoom and is providing the technical support. We have a program committee that is composed of Pamela Butler Stone, Sharon Phillips, Rabia Zalewski, and Alex Marks, who have put together the program here. And in a moment, I'll introduce you to the host, Elise Genovese. But before I do that, I also want to say a special thank you to our special guests this evening, Jacob Horsey, our musical guest who comes to us from Australia and whose music you heard in the period leading up to the program tonight. And I also want to thank Peter Booth, who's going to be giving us an inspiring talk about his perceptions of the meaning of the accident. So at this point, I'd like to turn the program over to Elise Genovese to introduce our program. Jai Baba.
Thank you, Daniel, and welcome to all who are attending. We have been hosting virtual programs for the past few years in honor of Baba's accident. And tonight, we're pleased to bring you another wonderful evening of remembrance of Baba with our guest speaker, Peter Booth, a Baba scholar. We also have music by Australian Jacob Horsey, who you heard at the beginning of our program with the backing the beautiful slideshow we saw, and whose music will be, delightful later. We also have a special guest remembrance by someone who visited Prague just months after Baba's accident. So that's going to be a special treat. This year, as Daniel mentioned, we have an in-person Sahavas happening at the very same time at the Heartland Center, so we will be taking a peek at that later. So welcome to all of you from around the world, including those who are attending the Heartland Center Sahavas in person. And we hope that this will be an inspiring time together in remembrance of this special occasion. We ask you to please keep yourself muted unless I specifically ask you to unmute. So let us begin tonight. We have our special guest speaker, Peter Booth. Peter has been a follower of Meher Baba for over 50 years, and he spent many of those years living in Mehrabad, serving the trust in a variety of capacities, including creating some very beautiful films about Meher Baba. He's also become a deep student of Hafiz and recently co-authored a book entitled Dante and Hafiz. Tonight, Peter will share with us some of his perceptions of the significance of Meher Baba's accident and Meher's role in it. Welcome, Peter.
Can they see me? Yes. Oh, there I am. Beloved Avatar, Meher Baba Ki Jai. It's a great privilege to be here, and I'm just going to share some of my thoughts about the 52 accident. I like to write things out, and so I'm going to read what I wrote. I'll probably stumble over some of my words, and when I do, I will stop and repeat, hopefully correctly, what I've written. So here it goes. This will only take about 25 minutes. So that's it. Jai Baba. It is not possible for any of us to grasp the significance of Meher Baba's 1952 accident. Obviously, we do not have the eyes to see, nor the consciousness to perceive. But certainly, of all the events in Meher Baba's life, this not only is one of the most dynamic, if the most dynamic in effect, but it is also the most meticulously planned, and planned exactly for that purpose, to clear our sight and restructure our consciousness. To cite just one instance of how meticulously Meher Baba planned this accident, Dr. Ned Burleson, the physician who treated the injured, said of Meher's skull fracture, "It was like someone had dropped an egg on the floor and the shell shattered. It was the worst skull fracture I had ever seen. I didn't expect her to live." And then there is what Meher Baba said about the accident. "I bore 50% of the suffering, and Mera bore 50% of the suffering." To have produced such an exacting effect, the moment of impact had to be precisely planned with minute care. If it were not, Meher Baba's beloved Mera's suffering would not have been in perfect balance with his own, and she might not have survived. Now, it has long been debated what Meher Baba meant when he said that he was going to destroy 3/4 of the world. The two main aspects of this debate have been, on the one hand, 3/4 of the physical world, and on the other hand, anger, greed, and lust. Quite obviously, at any time, the avatar can blow up 3/4 of the physical world, or even bring about Mahapralaya, the destruction of the entire thing. But if this were his plan, it is doubtful that he would have had his beloved Mera go through the horrific suffering of the Prague accident, as the destruction of the physical world would render this suffering meaningless. The destruction of 3/4 of the world, then, must be the destruction of the three things that are the antithesis of Mera's purity and Meher Baba's purity. That is anger, greed, and lust. This perfect balance of the suffering of the creator, Meher Baba, with that of the creation is represented by his beloved Mera, and the Prague accident will launch a completely new era of spirituality. When we take a look at avataric history, more often than not, the creator dominates over the creation, and this prevents the manifestation following avataric incarnations from being fully grounded in creation's texture. As a result, spirituality often involves withdrawing from the world, as the world, not having been cleaned up, remains permeated by these dark forces of anger, greed, and lust. And these, of course, hamper spiritual development. This time, however, will be different, as Meher Baba's supreme sacrifice of having his beloved Mara critically injured in the 1952 accident ensures that Mara's love, purity, compassion, and grace will permeate every fiber of existence. This purity, perfectly in balance and infused with Meher Baba's own, will naturally uproot and remove all that is impure. In its place, new foundations of love, compassion, purity, inspiration, and intuition will be constructed. This process of removing the old impure foundations of anger, greed, and lust, and replacing these with those that are pure is a very difficult one. For as each foundation of the old is removed, the new foundation must be put in its place. This must happen on all levels of consciousness and on all levels of creation, and it must be done without a mistake and with perfect timing. Simply, an entirely new form of creation is being crafted. But before this new form is created, the filth of anger, greed, and lust must be removed, for you cannot pour purity on top of impurity. If you do this, eventually the impurities will ooze out and ruin everything. It's just the same as you cannot pour spring water into a glass with polluted water and then drink it without getting sick. As these impurities are connected with the mind, the dark and deeply ingrained structures of the mind that have prevailed over creation for eons have to be removed. These then will be replaced with the luminous, inspired, limitless structures of the heart. This establishment of the foundations of the heart as the new structure of creation is fitting, as the relationship between Meher Baba and Mara was of the highest, purest love, that is, of the limitless realm of the heart and not the limitations of the mind. This new structure will happen not just among those who are spiritually sensitive, it will happen to everyone, because in this new environment, founded upon love and purity, there will not be an interface for anger, greed, and lust to interact with. They will become friendless strangers in the world they once ruled over, and they will just disappear. Simply as Mara became perfect in her love for Meher Baba and as she represents creation, creation will now become perfect in its structure as well. Moreover, Meher Baba's greatest concern for creation in this Advent shows the depth of his love for his beloved Mara as she represents creation. This process of the transformation of creation is actually very simple, but the sacrifice, courage, and extreme artistry to bring it about are incomprehensible. So first, the impurities must be removed. Removing this is a very difficult process and a very painful one. For Meher Baba said that these gross impressions must be expressed to be removed. That is, to get rid of them, the world has to become filled with some really bad behavior. Certainly, this is the phase we are in now, as the world is a complete and total mess. This cleaning through expressing all of this filth is perhaps as difficult as putting the foundations of the new forms in place. It is for this reason, I believe, that Meher Baba stressed again and again to hold on to his Dhamma. For if we don't hold on to this symbol of purity, we can be contaminated with and even swept away by the filth that is now pouring out everywhere. Meher Baba often said that this period of terrible activity would happen just before his manifestation. This makes sense, for certainly he is not going to manifest until this massive cleansing project is complete. In the meantime, the world will be witness to corruption, exploitation, wars, and abuse, as we now see. So the avatar is not only the creator spreading purity everywhere, he is also the garbage man, the washerwoman, the sewage engineer, meticulously cleaning up the filth of eons of bad human behavior. That is what he is doing now. He is perfect in every role, and he is perfect in these roles as well. When these deeply ingrained foundations of anger, greed, and lust are removed, and the new foundations of love and intuition are constructed in their place, only the pure inspiration of the heart will remain. When this happens, the entire world, without exception, will turn to love for God, for nothing else will remain. Another aspect of this form of creation will be a childlike innocence, hand in hand with a majestic maturity. It is through the supreme maturity of absolute obedience to Meher Baba that childlike innocence is preserved. And it is through the joy and the wonder of a child that the inspiration to preserve this innocence through the maturity of obedience is fostered. In this new age, structured by the Prague accident, the maturity of the world will exist only to preserve and nurture the innocence of a child. These two qualities, pure childlike innocence, hand in hand with a majestic maturity, are two of the hallmarks of Mara's personality, and these will now permeate creation. As Meher Baba's sister has said of Mara, Mara was not only Meher Baba's beloved, she also was his innocent child. When these new foundations of love and purity are in place, spiritual aspirants will no longer feel the need to withdraw from the world to facilitate their spiritual advancement. When discussing this, it is interesting to consider Mara's own seclusion under Meher Baba's strict orders. As Mara represents creation, and because she stayed in a protective seclusion for so many years, creation will become just as safe and as nurturing as the seclusion she lived in. This will remove the need to withdraw from the world and into seclusion for spiritual advancement. Moreover, as Mara was perfect in her love and obedience to Meher Baba, then all of creation will become the same. And as Meher Baba has said that he is the slave of the love of his lovers, creation will now also become his lover's slave, joyously springing forth at every turn to nurture and foster the love of Meher Baba's lovers. Additionally, the world will become so infused with the beauty of genuine spirituality that lovers of God will no longer want to withdraw from it. This new structure, allowing the world to become the spiritual path, will be made possible by Mara's purity, her strict seclusion, her injuries in the Prague accident, and by Meher Baba perfectly balancing the suffering of these injuries with his own. If there was an iota of impurity in Mara's personality or a flaw in her perfect obedience to Meher Baba, then this would not be possible, as these flaws would have to manifest and the whole thing would be messed up. About this new form of spirituality, being in the world but not of it, Meher Baba has said, "It is not practical to overemphasize the material at the cost of the spiritual. It is not practical to have spiritual ideals without putting them into practice, but to realize the ideal in daily life, to give a beautiful and adequate form to the living spirit." When we have spiritually advanced, divinely inspired souls treading their spiritual path through the world rather than withdrawing from it, every aspect of human endeavor will be greatly enhanced. Not only with the arts, literature, music, dance, painting, not only will the arts, literature, music, dance, painting appear more beautiful, but because Meher Baba and Mera both love the arts, especially literature, these will become infused with genuine spirituality and will be carried way beyond anything we have today. Moreover, if anger, greed, and lust are removed from our beings, then the debilitating and corrupting chemicals within our system that produce these will be removed as well. These chemicals and hormones will be replaced with the nurturing chemistry of love and inspiration. As a result, our lifespans, our energy, our sense of well-being, our health, our appreciation of beauty, our sensitivity, and our capacity for love will be exponentially increased. Once anger, greed, and lust are removed, only the love, intuition, and divine inspiration of the heart will remain. This will establish for the first time ever mysticism as the foundation of everyone's daily lives. As Meher Baba has said, something will happen that has never happened before. It will be through the moment-by-moment inspiration of divine intuition that everybody will know it is very damaging to hurt another, for to do so is to hurt oneself. It will not be that all human problems will be solved, but the selfish and destructive forces that are the cause of most of these will no longer dominate, and a new empathy will be established in their place. When the filth and polluting goo of anger, greed, and lust are removed from our consciousness, we will begin to have the clear sight necessary to glimpse the beauty of all beauties, our Creator. As Meher Baba's favorite poet Hafez has said, "Seeing the beloved's cheek requires purity of vision. Except in the clean, polished mirror of the heart, there is no sight." And past avataric advents, the manifestation following the avatar's incarnation has awakened only a few to the divine inspiration that is born of the pure love of the heart. And accordingly, we have, in place of this, the comparatively narrow strictures of the mind. That is religion. And as religion is built upon the mind, it is invariably tainted by the mind's projects: anger, greed, lust, and hypocrisy. The Prague accident ensures that in this age this will not happen, as it allows for the purity of creation, represented by Mera, to be thoroughly mixed with the purity of reality, Meher Baba, leaving no room for the impurities of the mind to dominate this purity of the heart. In fact, these purities will no longer exist. In short, the Prague accident will lift us out of great darkness and into expansive light. That is simply from the confines of the mind into the expansive intuition and pure love of the heart. Finally, the forces released by the Prague accident are in some ways greater than the original act of creation itself, as the new form of creation molded by this accident, will be infused with the fabulous personalities of Meher Baba and his beloved Mara, whereas the original act of creation was an impersonal act. Essentially, the relative coarseness of this original act of creation has been meticulously fine-tuned by the suffering of Meher Baba and his beloved Mara in the Prague accident. As Meher Baba has said, the avatar is greater than God, and it must follow that his work is the same. Jai Baba, thank you.
Jay. Thank you, Peter.
What do I go back? What happens?
Thank you so much for that, Peter. That's very, very interesting. And I, for one, am looking forward to getting past this destructive phase into some of the places you were talking about, the new humanity. So now, as promised, let's take a peek into the Heartland Center Sahavas that's going on at the Heartland Center now. And Alex Marks, who was intending and hoping to be there for her first visit for this Sahavas, was detained because of unforeseen circumstances, which is the way of our beloved. But she is still gratefully going to be talking to a few of the members there virtually. So, Alex, take it away.
Well, thank you, Elisa, and Jai Baba to everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Alexandra Marks, and people call me Alex. I have been volunteering for the last few months on the communications team for the Heartland Center, and I was very much looking forward to a trip out there to experience it myself, having read so much about it and heard from other people what a marvelous thing it is to go and visit. Unfortunately, as Baba does, he had other plans on Monday, the day before I was supposed to leave. I took a tumble and fractured my leg. Thus, I have the gift of interviewing people who are in Prague, but I will be in Myrtle Beach. And so that said, it is my great pleasure to interview and introduce Hunter Flournoy and Karen Levine, who are in Prague right now. And I'm hoping they're set up. We've had to bring them from a different room, so it might take us just a moment to get them spotlighted. And there they are. Hi, Hunter. Hi, Karen. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I know you're in the
Baba.
Jai Baba. I know you're in the middle of your own Sahavas, and so thank you very much for taking the time to share with all of us. Now we're going to start with Hunter. I understand you and your husband made the decision to drive out to Prague, and you followed Meher Baba's route. What was it that prompted you to do that?
Well, my husband and I have always been deeply moved by how Baba transformed the lives of women and Black and Indigenous people of color and LGBTQ people from the very beginning of his life, and in calling together people of all traditions. And so to follow the path he took, which was also along the Trail of Tears, which so many people suffered and died along, and to go by each stop that he traveled through along the way, was incredibly moving and touching, and gave us a feeling of deepening nearness with him. And while we can't imagine everything he was doing, to feel with each stop that he made how he was touching into the fabric of our history and transforming and releasing and healing with each stop. The other thing we wanted was we really wanted to enter into it as a pilgrimage, as a willingness to say yes to Baba on anything that Baba brings. And as his tenderest love gift, the hard moments, the challenges, it can be a grueling drive in the heat, but we really experienced everything that came to us in the pilgrimage and certainly in our arrival here, the tenderness and gentleness of a place where something so terrible happened has been extraordinary.
Hunter, how many days did it take you?
It took 3 days of driving, about 7 to 8 hours a day.
Wow, that's a lot. And what were the highlights for you of the trip?
Every place that Baba stopped or passed through, some of which we knew about, some of which we discovered as we drove. I think one of the most touching was in Ozark. We went to the site where he stayed on his last night before heading towards Prague, and which is so beautiful and so sweet with his presence, even though he didn't sleep that night, even though he was in deep suffering, that the garden there had such a deep sweetness that we certainly felt when we arrived here at Prague and at the Heartland Center.
You also stopped by and made a point to, is it Fort Gibson, along the Trail of Tears? You stopped there so that you could follow Baba's.
Yes. Yes, Baba was heading due west with some sense of a rush about things, and suddenly he turned north, out of the way, and went directly by Fort Gibson and then turned west again. And Fort Gibson was the place that the tribes that had walked the Trail of Tears, that they were required to complete their walk, to register, to receive their allotment and some compensation. It was a place where a lot of formerly enslaved people received their freedom and became free people in this country. So it was a place, it's a terrible place, and it's a miraculous place at the same time. And Baba went out of his way to, whatever his way was. He suddenly took off north and then came back down to continue on to Prague. And to know that every step of the way, he knew he was going to his accident. It was like walking the Stations of the Cross with Baba and feeling imagining what he must have been going through, and what it would have been like to be with him in the agony of that journey and the joy.
What would you say, for other Baba lovers who some might have thought, "Oy, Prague, Oklahoma, in the middle of nowhere," and boy, that's a really long drive. What would you recommend to other Baba lovers? This is something you'd say, boy, 3 days, 8 hours a day, terrible heat. I don't think I'd do it. Or what? So what do you think?
I'd say don't do it if it's a vacation. Don't do it if it's a pleasure trip. But if you're doing it to draw closer to him and to his beloved, that the drive itself, every step of it will take you deeper into the embrace of him. I would say, especially arriving here at the Heartland Center, which Karen will say more about, this place is so sweet and so powerful and so precious that I find myself so committed to, as a member of the Baba community, to making sure that these places are secured for Baba's lovers for all time, because they're not secured yet. You'll run into a pit bull out by the accident site who's really very sweet, but a little scary. And the hospital is still a full hospital, which is very welcoming. But to secure these places so that Baba can bring them into their fullest expression of his love is immeasurably important.
To quote,
And being here even for a couple days, I feel that so strongly.
to quote Sharon Phillips, who's also a member of the Heartland, she's a volunteer for the Heartland Center. She said, I'm after I'm there for a couple of days, I just feel like I'm swimming in love, just swimming in love, which I think is so beautiful. Karen, this is not your first time or your second or your third. As I understand it, this is the fourth time that you visited the Heartland Center.
Yes, the first four.
Yeah.
I plan to make to come here twice a year anyway, maybe more. I love Prague. I love the Heartland Center deeply. I always was aware that Baba's sacrifice was monumental, right? I mean, that goes without saying. I can't begin to touch on what we just heard in our speech, but the knowing that it happened in our era and in our country, and right here where it's accessible, it seems like reason enough to have been born here. I mean, we should be going to this place. So when I had heard about the fundraiser and our buying the house, and then I had my first opportunity to come when Michael Ivey was the caretaker, and had the good fortune to meet, what was her name? I keep forgetting her name. The lady. Huh? No, the woman that Wilhite. Lynn Wilhite. Yeah. We went to a Baba meeting at Lynn Wilhite's house. It was so, it was beautiful. Because it was a great big room with chairs all around, and it was just Michael and Lynn and me. And she was saying, well, this is going to fill up. She was predicting what the future was going to look like. So it was a wonderful journey. I met a man who came through who had just painted the Samadhi, and he was going back home to New Mexico or something. So every time I've come here, I've met such wonderful people like Hunter here and everybody. So going to the site, yeah.
I was going to say, just for people.
I was going to say, go.
For people who do not know, currently the Heartland Center is composed of two houses. Dr. Burleson's house, which is the home of the doctor who treated Baba and Mera and the Mandali, and his best friend next door, it's the Morrison house. And in 2002, the Heartland Center was formed, and through, the incredible efforts of many, many volunteers, those houses were bought. And that's where you guys, I'm so sorry, you guys are in the Burleson house? Yeah. And so it's a wonderful accommodation. But the sacred sites, which the hospital and the accident site, which Hunter referred to, they're still in the public domain. And Karen, you were going to talk about what they mean to you, those two sites.
Yes, it's a true pilgrimage, because it's making, in your imagination, it makes real what you've just read about. You hear that Baba sacrificed in the middle of the North American continent, but when you're standing there and looking at the ground where his blood poured out, and just feet away, there's semi-trucks and farm trucks whizzing by. Of that accident, I could just imagine feeling these cars, the wind of these trucks going by, how violent that was. And it's not that I'm ghoulish and want to know, get into the it's just that it makes the imagination, it makes me feel real about it. It just brings it to reality for me. And then going to the hospital and seeing his painting or his picture, his photograph, great big photograph, still there. After all these years, I mean, this town is incredibly loving and they have no judgment against us. It's really, I just don't, we had, when we care, the love from the caregivers, because Jane has a wonderful, our caregiver, Jane Montgomery, has a wonderful rapport here. And she goes into the hospital and there's a nurse on maternity. Okay, Jane, well, you're our babysitter. We're going to be stopping by with our baby, you know? And so that kind of relationship is there. And then, and just sitting around getting ready to watch the video this evening, a neighbor lady came.
But hold on one second. We're having a
Cars
bit of a-
parking lot. I need
we're having a bit of an audio issue, Karen.
kind of welcoming, and not 100%, but it's
Okay. We seem to have lost that feed, which I'm going to just take a moment. Hopefully Sharon Phillips, who is on the ground there, will be able to restart that video. But in the meantime, I think I can throw it to Elisa. And one of the things that's coming up is an update on what's called the Heartland Memorial Initiative, which is something that started in 2022 with the goal of being able to purchase the hospital, hopefully by Baba's grace, and possibly land adjacent to the accident site. And Elisa, why don't I throw it to you? And then when we get the Heartland Center back with good audio, maybe we can come back. We can just sort of go with the flow. Thank you, Baba. And thank you, everyone. Elisa?
Sorry. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, it's just the way it all plays out is just so Baba. And, I just want to before I give you the update that Alex was referring to, I just felt motivated to share something that happened today, which is also, in talking about the routes that Baba took. I get this daily newsletter in my email called the Daily Passport. And today, just by chance, and it's always like destinations all over the world. And today, at the anniversary of Baba's accident, the destination that came up was Ruby Falls, which is one of the places that Baba stopped along the route. And that it showed up today as Ruby Falls. And it's the place where Mani had said that that it's an underground waterfall that actually starts to flow because of the way the light hits it red. And Mani had said at that time that she had such an eerie feeling when she was seeing this of blood that was coming down. So I just want to see the ways in which Baba works are just, it just brings it all to the foreground. Anyway, well, thank you so much, Alex. That was actually quite wonderful and very, very inspiring. And maybe we will get back. But for those of you who have not yet been to the Heartland Center, you can see by some of the feelings that were generated there that it is definitely something you should consider doing soon. But I do want to give you an update about some of the things that have been happening at the Heartland Center the past year, with the birth of what Alex was talking about, of the Heartland Memorial Initiative. I'm a core team member of that and have been involved since the beginning, and we've covered a lot of ground since it started. The Prague Regional Hospital, which was formerly Dr. Burleson's clinic and the place where Baba and the Mandali spent 12 days following the accident, announced a year ago that they are planning to relocate to a new site. So the Heartland Center has been very actively involved in preparing to acquire the hospital building if and when they should move, with the understanding that it might possibly happen in 3 to 5 years. The Heartland Memorial Initiative, as it's been called, is dedicated to creating a permanent memorial of the site of this sacred site so that it is available for humanity for posterity. And to that end, we have been working on designing the space, anticipating the funding and other needs, and creating the organizational structure so that if and when it does become available, we are fully ready and prepared to respond. We've created a film about this project called The Tangible Link to the Eternal, which is available on the Heartland Center website, which is www.ambheartlandcenter.org. We've also been updating the website recently, so if you've not visited it lately, I encourage you to check it out. On the website, you can find much more information about visiting Prague, about the Heartland Memorial Initiative, and to get access to both the Tangible Link to the Eternal, as well as the film, The Greatest of My Sufferings, which is an hour-long, very beautiful film about Baba's 1952 accident. Also on the website, you'll find ways that you can become involved with the Heartland Memorial Initiative if you feel so inspired, and we very much welcome you. So now I would like to transition to, I guess we'll just go on then, Alex, because I'm not sure we'll be able to get them back.
Actually, I do have an update. We are going to get them back. It might take a few minutes. And so maybe you do, if you want to, we can switch to the musical part of the program. But not only are we going to get them back, but they'll be in the room with the other 15 or so guests who are enjoying Sahavas there. So, and I think we have plenty of time to just, and also to thank them all and then just be able for them to finish up their thoughts.
And we are here with you at the Heartland Center in the main room now.
Oh,
Okay, we don't see you on the screen, Hunter.
Our video should be on.
so Diana, should we just finish that up and then we could go to the music portion?
Unspot me.
So
okay, give me a moment. Give me a moment. Okay, just a second. So, where are you?
I think we can look
Mark
for-
Jemison.
Yes, we're Mark Jameson. Interestingly enough.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Mark
Mark
Jameson.
Jameson. Okay,
Hunter, will you wave at us? I see you.
No, I see Mark Jameson, yes.
okay,
Hey,
there
there
you
they
go.
are.
There you go.
Hello, all.
What up?
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Well, what a gift. And so sorry about that audio problem, but this I think is even better. And Diane, if we could go back to the split screen, that's wonderful. And oh, please don't, everybody, I sort of feel like now everybody on Zoom can be part of the Sahavas there, which is a gift. So
Yeah.
now, Karen, you are in the middle of talking about your trip to the hospital and kudos to Jane Montgomery, who is the full-time caretaker, who not only is she warm and welcoming and fabulous, don't tell anybody, but she's evidently quite the amazing cook.
Yes. Yes.
But you were talking about the good relations that she's fostered at the hospital.
Yeah, so she's while we were there, she was talking to the nurse, a nurse who was just visiting on maternity leave and bouncing a little 3-month-old baby, and the two of them were talking. Well, Jane and the nurse were talking about Jane babysitting, and they were going to just drop by with the baby, and so it just kind of gives you an idea of the personal relationships that are, you know, so warm and friendly. And then when we were just sitting in this very room, a neighbor saw came over, knocked on the door, and brought us a big cake because, which we haven't eaten yet, guys, but we should. She brought a wonderful cake for us because she saw all these cars in the driveway and saw that we had a lot of company, so we probably needed a cake, you know? So it's that kind of welcoming feeling. We went to the History Museum and saw Baba's display, and this wonderful woman was very open about, you know, telling us to where things were and all of that. So I say, come on down.
One of the things that people may not know, but I get such a charge out of this, is that the motto of Prague, Oklahoma is a small town with a big heart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's good. Yeah.
But one of the things about the hospital is it used to be that we had access to Meher Baba's room, the room where he was actually treated. The hospital has gone through some major administrative changes, and that room now, unfortunately, is needed for confidential HIPAA files, which are sort of private files. So the hospital, we're not able to go into the actual room, but the hospital has so beautifully and kindly provided an alcove for us. And would you be willing to talk about what, because you had experienced both being in the room and then also the alcove?
Yeah. Well, isn't it remarkable that a small town would give us a space for a great big photograph of Baba and to put flowers and chairs there, or for us to put the flowers, I'm sure. And we're allowed just to come anytime. And although, you know, we try to work with their lunch hours and that kind of thing, so we're not in the way, but that we're welcome and it's open every day to us, and we can stay as long as we want and just sit and meditate there if we want to. It's wonderful. I went back to the room this time where Mara and Elizabeth lay suffering for so long. And I sat in that emergency room and just imagined they're looking at the ceiling. I mean, it's just making it real by being here and by, you know, bringing your body, your mind, and your soul, and just witnessing it. It I don't know, feels like a sacred duty to me.
Wonderful. And one of the other things is, you know, you guys are in this intimate Sahavas situation, and either of you, if you want to answer, but how lovely to be with such a small group of people to you know, to share this experience with.
Yeah, we just had 3 people from India here today. Well, one of them lives in Dallas. Did both of them? Yeah. Okay, 2 of them lived in Dallas. The other one's looking for work. And it was I feel like every time I come here, there's people from some other part of the world or country, you know, passing through, and I don't know, it's always a welcome place. How about you?
Yeah, Hunter, any final thoughts or words for people? You know, this is thank you again for sharing with us, you know, during your time of pilgrimage. And but any other final thoughts that you'd like to share?
Just that there's an aura of love around the hospital and around the Heartland Center, and a tenderness at the accident site of all things, this great and unimaginable tenderness, even in the midst of the hot Oklahoma sun at midday. And a sweetness that is surprising and miraculous. And if it had only been to feel Baba's presence there, because he's present everywhere, but to feel his presence the way he manifested there is a great gift.
Karen, final thoughts and words?
No, well, no. How about Jai Baba?
Jai Baba. And from my heart, I can't thank you all enough. You guys have just been absolutely wonderful. And for all of us at the Heartland Center, thank you, you know, for the the volunteer committees, we say thank you so much for doing this, and have a wonderful rest of your Sahavas. And everybody else at the Heartland Center, thank you guys for being there. And Jai Meher Baba, Jai Meher Baba, Jai Meher Baba. All right, Elisa, we send it back to you.
Thank you so much for that. That was just delightful. Oh my gosh, I really, really just felt like, just all the memories of being there just came back, and the longing actually to go back soon. So that was a wonderful segment. So now we are going to transition to the promised special guest video that we have. And to present that, we have Rabia Zalewski, a member of the Heartland Memorial Initiative, and most importantly, the granddaughter of Nancy Nordine, who recently passed into Baba's care. And Rabia is going to share with us a very special conversation she had with her grandmother before she passed.
Hello, and Jai Baba. My name is Rabia, and today I'm so delighted to introduce an interview I did with my grandma, Nancy Nordine. For those of you who don't know, my grandma was mother to 11 children who all came to love and follow Meher Baba. In this video, she shares her experience of visiting Prague, Oklahoma in 1952 and 1953, just months after Meher Baba's accident. She never forgot her brief but impactful time there, and was profoundly affected when nearly 20 years later, she realized the incredible significance. From my family's heart to yours, I hope you enjoy.
Sweet. Okay.
6 months after Baba's accident, you and Dad stopped in Prague.
We did.
So 8 months later, you came back with Grandma and Grandpa. You stopped in.
We stopped and looked around a little bit in that town.
In Prague.
Can you believe it? I don't know why.
Yeah. Did you stay the night with Grandpa and Grandma in that?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And what was the motel?
It was a little dinky little motel.
Mm-hmm.
It was small, like not modern or anything.
Do you remember any people there or anything?
I don't remember people.
No.
But
Interesting. Interesting.
So but you do remember feeling something that second trip?
oh, definitely, yeah. That was when we knew. Grandpa and I knew that.
Were you sitting at the hotel? Were you sitting outside the hotel, or in the motel, or where were you sitting?
I think we were talking, me and Grandpa. I don't know if we were sitting, where we were sitting, but he said, I really like this place. I said, I do too. And it was really meaningful.
You
know.
really liked it.
Yeah.
Or you just felt there was something special.
Yeah.
And did he say that? Did he felt like there was something special?
He didn't say that. He just said he really liked this place. You know, I could tell he was really liking it, and I was too. I was surprised because I said, well, I do too.
Did you talk about, like, I wonder what it is, or?
And we didn't even question it.
Yeah.
We just knew. You know how it is, you just know.
Yeah, but I remember when you were talking about it at Baba's house, you were saying that it wasn't that it was a particularly nice place. The motel wasn't that nice or anything, but that you just felt happy there.
Yes, that was it. It's not what the place was or anything.
It was like the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's pretty incredible that you?
I think it is. Yeah.
Baba's accident there, and you could feel something.
Definitely.
In the atmosphere there.
Very definitely.
You just felt happy?
And I was happy that Grandpa felt that too.
Yeah.
That was your buddy, huh?
It's not
Yes, he was.
it's not that just you felt it, he felt it too.
Yeah. We were just happy about it.
That's amazing. That must have been an incredible moment when you were reading that book and you read about that accident and you put 2 and 2 together with the dates.
It was pretty incredible. The other thing that happened is when I realized who Baba was. And I can't even tell you what, how, or, but Artie, we were at the White House and we were trimming the tree. Somebody, one of you kids were trimming the tree. And Artie was talking about Baba. Well, he was talking about Jesus, how it compares. And all of a sudden it hit me. I just knew. And Artie knew that I knew. And he said, don't talk about it now. He knew that I knew.
Just feel it.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible.
You, all of a sudden, you realize that Jesus, that Baba is Jesus come again.
Yeah.
That must have been an incredible moment.
It was.
Oh my God.
It was, and
how we waited and waited.
Yeah.
Had they,
I already knew, I finally realized it.
had he talked to you about Baba before that?
Well, they talked about things, but tried to educate us. But it just hit me.
Why do you think Artie said to you, don't talk about it now?
I don't know.
Was it?
Because he wanted to be in the moment. He wanted to, the moment was
he wanted you
so,
to experience
the moment was so
profound.
Yeah.
Profound. Wow.
Yeah.
Just want to let it sink in.
Yeah, he wanted to just enjoy it now, you know.
Wow, my God.
When you would hear the boys talk about it at first, were you ever like afraid, or what did you think at
I
first?
was never afraid.
You were just letting them talk and
I was
listening.
just listening. I was listening to everybody, didn't I? And that was so great.
You were open-minded.
It was so great we could sit and talk.
Yeah, we respected each other, so we were open to what someone said.
Yeah. Funny how it happened.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
And then they say, well, how do you know? Well, you just know.
Yeah.
That's all you can say.
And somebody could try to convince you otherwise, but it wouldn't do any good.
No, it ain't gonna work.
No. Because once you know, you just know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. What an extraordinary story, and what a deep connection the Nordine family has to Prague. And they've continued to be connected to Prague through the tireless efforts of many of the Nordines in helping to acquire, restore, and guide the Heartland Center from early in its inception. Thank you to the Nordines, and we are thrilled to have Rabia as part of the HMI and have her carry on the Nordine connection. So now, oh yeah, and then so Alex would like to add one thing.
We just wanted to add one sort of note to sort of bring home just how profound and how Baba, you know, how Baba's always planting seeds and years later they come to fruition. And, you know, when Nancy Nordine drove out there, she had no idea who Meher Baba was. And she wouldn't know, never heard of him, wouldn't for another 20 years. And, but still, and she said when she had that moment of recognition and heard about the accident in Prague, just that it was incredibly profound, like, and the idea that God had her drive through not once, but twice, and then to be the matriarch of this amazing family. And I know that Peter Nordine and other Nordine family members were instrumental in helping build the Heartland Center from the very beginning. Just wanted to add that.
What I was saying, yeah. Yes, thank you. That's really beautiful. And you can just see the way Baba's threads are always, everything has a reason and everything has a purpose, and it all comes to the understanding. So again, back to having Rabia be part of it, it just continues on. So we're thrilled about that. So now we're ready to transition to our musical concert and our musical guest. We have a musical guest, Jacob Horsey, will be coming to us from Australia. He has a recorded concert that he prepared for us because it's quite early in the morning there. And he has a number of songs, all of which will be on his upcoming CD, which will be coming out quite soon. Jacob comes from Australia. I think he lives in Perth, where, just like the Heartland Center is being created by his lovers here, a contingent of dedicated Baba lovers in Australia created the Sydney Mayher House and Avatar's Abode. So Jacob opens with a beautiful song about the establishment of the major Baba centers there, which feels in some ways like a nod to the hard work and dedication happening here in America to establish the Heartland Memorial Initiative and to actualize the memorialization of this sacred site. So to that end, we welcome Jacob Horsey.
Jai Baba. I'm Jacob Horsey and I'm currently in Perth, Western Australia, and going to play a few songs today. I'm really happy to be part of the program for the anniversary. So I'm going to play a song. It's called Francis's Hands, and I wrote it as a tribute to the many early Baba followers and devotees that were part of that process of Baba coming to Australia. The building of Mayher House in Sydney, which was stone quarried from the side of a mountain by Francis Brabazon and some other Baba lovers that helped in the process. And then in 1958, the preparation of Avatar's Abode for Baba's monumental visit down under then. So I'll play this song. You might recognize some of the characters in it. It's called Francis's Hands. There's a plane out on the horizon. It's bearing my beloved as it touches down in Sydney. I know I've never loved another. There are teardrops on the doorstep where his lotus feet stood, and these stone walls that housed his form would sing his name if they could. And I wish I were John Grant or Lorna Rouse. I wish I were Francis's hands building Mayher House. There's a car leaving Brisbane. It's bearing my beloved. This winter in Queensland will be remembered like no other. And I'm sure the flooded gums sing as he passed, and the kookaburra laughed when he laughed. And on June 6th, when he left, I bet grieving my route she wept. And I wish I were John Bruford or Robert Rouse. I wish I were Francis's hands building Baba's house. There's a plane out on the horizon. It's bearing my beloved. As it fades in the distance, I know I'll never love another. And I wish I were Joan Bruford or Lorna Rouse. I wish I were Francis's hands building Mayhead House. I wish I were Billy Boy or Rada Rouse. I wish I were Francis's hands building Mayhead House. Okay, all right, I'm gonna play another song. This is called Silent Sea. I became a stone sinking in the sea when I would first fall for you. Then I became a leaf, drift upon the wind. I've thought that I was free, but you carried me. I was like a worm wrapped around a hook when I thought that I could catch you. But the only thing I caught was a slippery fish foam, and washed up on the shore I flapped and flapped till wings grew. For I was on my way like a rider through the storm to claim the love that I see. And though brave as a lion, it wasn't until I was broken and my spirit accepted defeat that love claimed me. I was now a bird gliding through the air, of grace I thought I'd possess, but by grace I'd been blessed. Then I became a beast, fearsome and strong, but my strength was only an arm's length long. For I was on my way, like a rider through the storm, to claim the love that I see. And though brave as a lion, it wasn't until I was broken and my spirit accepted defeat that love claimed me. I became a human and gazed into the mirror, transfixed by that which I'd see. And though the image changes right down through the ages, something has stayed with me. With me. For I've been on my way, like a rider through the storm, to claim the love that I see. And though brave as a lion, it wasn't until I was broken and my spirit accepted defeat. Here I've been on my way, like a rider through the storm, to claim the love that I see. Though brave as a lion, it wasn't until I was broken and I fell at your feet that love claimed me. I became a stone, sinking in the sea, when I would first fall for thee, for thee. Okay, I'll do another song. This is called Take Me Back. I don't recall how this began. God only knows how it's gonna end. I watch suns rise, I watch them set, I watch love's credit slowly turn to death. So take me back to the day when love was but an easy game to play. Walk me home down that road where love is light and it's not this heavy load. I fold my cards, I'll never win against love's sweet honey and the bee's swift sting. The wagon's wheels are prone to break under the load of all my mistakes. So take me back to the day when love was but an easy game to play. Walk me home along that road where love is light and it's not this heavy load. Child, if you pass me in the dust, say there lays one who in love did trust, one for whom the world is but ground up stone, one who made the beloved his one and only home. And I'll be back, behold the day where love is but an easy game to play. I'll be home down that road where love is light and it's not this heavy load. Oh, take me back to the day when love was but an easy game to play. Walk me home along that road where love is light and it's not this heavy load. Where love is light, and it's not this heavy load. Losing my voice a little bit there, getting a bit hoarse. I'm gonna finish on a song called River of My Song. Oh my Lord, hear my song, humble me where I am wrong. For my Lord, all I own are these words to my song, and may the rivers of my song find the ocean of your love. Oh, oh, my Lord. Give me strength when I'm weak, when I'm afraid. Give me courage, and when my hope is almost gone, help me, Lord, to sing my song, and may the rivers of my song find the ocean of your love. Oh, oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord, hear my song, humble me where I am wrong. For my Lord, all I own are these words to my song, and may the river my song. Find the ocean of your love. May the river of my song find the ocean of your love. May the river of my song find the ocean of your love. May the river of my song find the ocean of your love. Oh, my Lord. Jai Baba to everybody, and all my love for the anniversary, and hoping I can make it soon, Baba willing. Take care.
Wow. So was that the end of the concert, or did it freeze? It did seem like a very poignant place to end on, but that was very, very beautiful. Thank you, Jacob, for that contribution. And I hope you all look out for his new CD. It was just so heart-rending. That was beautiful. So we are coming to the end of our program, but I have a few things that I want to add about some of the things I was saying earlier about the Heartland Memorial Initiative before we end, because I was thinking about a few more things based on some of the stuff that Hunter and some of the people there at the Heartland Center were talking about. In the tangible link to the eternal, there's I mentioned the film about this project, the Heartland Memorial Initiative, but one of the points that Hunter was bringing up that I think is extremely important is how these sacred sites are really the most precious archival treasure we have. I mean, Meher Baba said this was his crucifixion. This is where he spilled his blood on American soil. And the need to preserve these sites for the not only for the Baba community, but for the whole of the world. I mean, again, Baba said this accident would benefit the whole of the world. So this is, I think, an extremely important endeavor that we are undergoing. And I really appreciate Hunter's perspective on that as well. And then in addition, I want to say about how you can get, and want to say a little bit more about how you can get involved with the Heartland Memorial Initiative, ways to get involved. And again, you'll find more information about this on the website. But some of the ways would be to visit the Heartland Center yourself and experience it, and then share that with others. Donate financially, not only in the form of one-time donations, but monthly and bequests. Volunteer your expertise. We would love anybody's expertise to be part of this. It takes a lot of hands and a lot of hearts to make this a reality. Contribute any Baba treasures that you might have, because we are forming an archive there, and that we will have eventually have a museum once we have some of the sites set up. And just share with others about the importance of this project. So thank you very, very much, all of you, for joining in tonight. We really appreciate it. And we're going to close out the evening with a final message from Daniel Stone, the president of the Heartland Center. And thank you to all who participated, Peter, Jacob, Alex, and all the people at the Heartland Center.
Alicia,
Yes.
that I put that in about asking you what Peter Booth shared it's very important for people. A lot of people couldn't get on or whatever. They need to hear this. The world is totally a mess. We need to hear this. It should be available that we could Zoom in or whatever, however you're going to do it.
This program was recorded tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
And
beyond money, any money, please.
Yes, knowing, that's why, yes.
It was J Baba. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosalie. Yes, that's why I'm saying visit for yourself and really see what the what it is to experience it. So we will close out with Daniel, but then we have some extra time, so we would like to open it up to the group. If anybody has any experiences about being at the Heartland Center or anything that you heard tonight on the program, feel free to raise your hand and I'll call on you. Yeah, Jay Baba. Daniel?
Yeah, it's really been a terrific program, and I'm very inspired by what Peter had to say and by what Hunter and Karen shared with us, and the music. It's very heart-rending music. I wanted to say one little thing. It's not a little thing, an important thing, before I sort of make some closing comments. Because what Hunter and Bradley have done is they've undertaken a very profound pilgrimage from, I think, Asheville out to Prague. That's a very, that has all of the hallmarks of a sacred pilgrimage that, with all the trials and, as Eric just said, pilgrimages are known by their trials. And that's an essential feature of pilgrimages. But I also want to say to all of you that going to Prague, it doesn't necessarily have to be that arduous, that actually you can fly into Oklahoma City. You can get nonstop flights from many airports around the country just to Oklahoma City. And then you rent a car and you drive an hour and you're there, and you have a beautiful retreat center that you can stay at, be cared for, have your meals at, and you're just steps away from the hospital and just a short drive to the accident site. So it really, I think many people have thought, Prague, how am I going to possibly make the time and the effort and so on to get there? And we're just saying it really is very available to you. And I really do hope all of you who are listening, if you've not already been, that you really do take advantage of that opportunity. And if you've been, come again. So having said that, I want to just share a couple of things that the Mandali have said, some of the Mandali have said about the Heartland Center, because just to sort of bring back into focus what is the significance of this center and what's been done there. And again, I want to give huge gratitude to the many people who created the Heartland Center and have kept it alive and kept it in repair and have served people going there. It really has been a labor of love from so many people. But here's what Bal Kachuri, one of Baba's very closest men, Mandali, said about the Heartland Center. Excuse me. Bal said, Baba is there suffering for the whole world, and therefore Heartland will become everybody's heart. It will be utilized for his cause. This site will be not only historical, but where future generations will come and shed tears. And Balnath too said, beloved Baba shed his precious blood to purify the American soil. Time will reveal the sanctity and profundity of that place. And I should say, these are not just historic sites. These are truly sacred sites. And we are so blessed by Baba that he left them here for us to go and discover the treasure of his presence that he left there. So, having said all of that, I just want to say this has been just a wonderful virtual program. We've had virtual programs the last couple of years also, but we're actually beginning discussion at the Heartland Center about the possibility of having an in-person Sahavas at the Heartland Center next year. So please stay tuned for that, and we'll be getting news out about that as it develops. But also stay attuned for what's happening with the Heartland Memorial Initiative and the Heartland Center in general. And if you're not already a subscriber to our newsletters, you can sign up on our website. And by the way, our website, if you've not been on it for a while, it's new and improved. And we've been doing a lot of updating of it and changing the look of it. And there's a lot more information on it than has been there in the past. And there's going to be even more coming up. So you might want to check it out, ambheartlandcenter.org. And you can also follow us, of course, on Instagram and Facebook. So I want to, again, give a big thank you to everybody who contributed to this program, to BabaZoom for providing this wonderful platform that we can all interact with one another. And I want to thank all of you who have joined us, and also want to thank those who will be watching the video and the recording of this that'll be on the BabaZoom website and will be posted on our website. In response to, Rosalie, what you had said about people having access, it will be made available. So I want to thank everybody. But of course, I think we all want to give our deepest gratitude, or certainly is to our divine beloved Avatar Meher Baba. So Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
And Mara.
Mara
Meher.
Mara Meher. And I know Elisa's gonna open it up for a few minutes for some comments and sharing, because we have a few minutes. But I just want to let you know that at 9 o'clock on this very same channel, BabaZoom will have their normal evening RT that you can stay on for. So Elisa, I kick it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. So we're going to just open it up. If anybody has any experiences of having been at the Heartland Center, or anything they want to add to what was already said about being there. And so, okay, Carol, we have a hand up here.
Jai Baba. This is an experience that I had in 2002 at the 50th anniversary gathering that was put together before the Burleson House was bought. There wasn't a physical Heartland Center. It came that same year. Thank you, Baba, for Jane Montgomery in my life. I was a little ambivalent about going to this Sahavas, and Jane said, come on, let's go. So we did. And we were staying in children's camps. It was May, the kids are still in school, that were some distance away, and had fabulous programs with speakers that Charmian Deuce was there, who Baba had called to come help after the crash. And her husband, Duncan Knowles, created a DVD called, it's Oklahoma, Oh, What a Beautiful Morning. And that DVD of that gathering is definitely worth getting a copy of and watching it. So we had programs at the camp. We went into Prague. We had experience with the local community there. The museum that set up a display, they allowed a display at the Museum of Babas. But the thing that was just there's just no words for it. My experience when we went on May 24th to the crash site, lots of people. So we had vans and cars coming from all over to bring everybody to this crash site. And the highway patrol had arranged to close off traffic for a period of time so that we could be there in front of Farmer Muka's house. And there were flowers, as so often is the case, there on the ground. And because of Phil Luckendorf, we actually know where that site is, and his story. He shared it at the Heartland Center before he shared it at that gathering, and it's astonishing story. So we were all, taking turns bowing down, and I went to bow down, where the flowers were, where Baba and Mara had spilled blood. And when I put my head down on the ground there, I felt a geyser of divine love coming up out of the earth there. and ascending into the heavens, that Baba declared what that place means to me in such a powerful way. So I just encourage everybody by any means to go there. It's Baba calls and we come, and he gives and gives. So that lives in me in a way that I don't understand, but I feel the power of his love there. So that's what I wanted to share. Go to the Heartland Center, go to the crash site.
Yes.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, thank you. And we have Ginger Buzz next.
Hi, the program brought back a fun old memory from the early 70s. We were driving from California to the center in Myrtle Beach.
It wasn't.
What's that?
Wasn't in 70s.
Oh, anyway, we were going by there. And we went to Baba's house and no one was there. And so all we knew, the accident was on a low spot in the road between Prague and Meeker. So we drove the whole way, bowed down to every low spot between the two cities, and found out actually the next day somebody was there and told us we had at least hit that spot, the right spot too. So Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, thank you. Judy?
Sorry, I was muted. What a wonderful gathering. It's so great to see so many people from around the world celebrating, acknowledging that Baba spilled his blood on American soil, as he said he needed to be. My personal connection is that I had been in the year 2000, I was on staff at Mehrabad for about 10 years at that point. And I got an inner message from Baba in the words that told me, go to Prague, Oklahoma on the 24th of May in the year 2002. So that's 2 years before the Oklahoma gathering. It's great to see you, Carol, and Buzz, everybody that was there. Approximately 100 of us gathered. But there was nothing planned in the year 2000. But Baba gave me this inner call. And I said, Baba, I'll be there. And by his grace, I flew out from Seattle, where I live when I'm in the West, and went to Myrtle Beach for 2 whole weeks, and then took the flight to Oklahoma City. And I've been very, very blessed this life with so many touching opportunities, blessings from Mayor Baba. But what's become known as the Oklahoma Gathering, which took place in 2002, is right up there for me in my heart with one of the most significant Baba present experiences I've ever had. And Carol mentioned Philip Luchtendorf, who taught me all the Devanagari that I know. He's a professor. That's the language. It literally means the language of the gods. And it's what Sanskrit is written in and so forth. So I was a friend of Peter and met his wife, Susan, there. But I'd known him for a number of visits from India. And I knew that he knew, and he was one of, I think, the only one that knew precisely where Baba's body had laid when it got thrown out of the car. And so I asked him the night before, the 24th if I could go with him and Susan. They had a car, I didn't, because he knew where he was going. And he knew because he and two young women Baba lovers back in 1970 were the first people to go to Prague after apparently Peter's Nordine's mother went, that we just heard from earlier so beautifully. And he talked not only to Dr. Burleson, but to this nurse that happened to be there. And he said, you know, did you happen,
Judy? I don't mean to interrupt you, but we are going to have to, we're going to have to wrap up pretty soon. So like another 30 seconds is all we're going to,
So I went out with Peter. We were there half an hour before everyone else. And when he pointed to where Baba's body had laid, it had poured rain the night before. It was soaking muddy. I bowed down alone. He and his wife had gone someplace else. And the presence of Baba's love, his suffering, his giving totally himself for all of us and the whole world, his entire creation, was so strong. And I had nothing but a clean Kleenex in my pocket. I put my hand into the pile of blood, wrapped it in the Kleenex. It's a cherished treasure of mine. Baba's presence is so there as it is in Baba's Samadhi at Mehrabad or any place else.
Thank you, Judy.
The one more sentence, you know, the center is now a reality, can grow into more of one, but Baba is nurturing it from way before its birth, way before he probably, you know, set sight on the land. It's a very, very special place.
Thank you. Hey, Baba. Unfortunately, we only have another minute or two, and I want to end with a Jai Baba. So I know we have Tina and Robert, but I would have to just say, just very, very briefly, if you have anything you want to add. Tina?
Yes. I wanted to share about the museum. And they had a sign in there that said the Christ visited our town.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, everybody. I had wanted to read the whole account by Dr. Burleson, but I won't do that. I'll just read their last paragraph when he first met Baba. The most attractive quality of his personality that first day was the way he would look at me with those big brown eyes, as if he were reading my mind. Later, I determined that the most astounding quality was that something which made it possible for him to receive such profound devotion and loyalty from so many fine and educated people. That quality cannot be forced. Such devotion can only be possible because he deserved it or earned it. And that's what I have.
Jai Baba, thank you so much, Robert. That's a beautiful way to end. So we'd like to end tonight's program. If everybody wants to unmute and just say a resounding Jai Meher Baba, and, you know, just with much gratitude for this program and for the fact that Baba has given us this ability to visit this sacred site. Avatar. Jai Baba.